Well, we're back.
Do you have to wait for anything?
Not really. We're doing a bacon cheeseburger pizza tonight. And this thing is slammed with goodness.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter could smell it from her room and made me promise to save her some.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. Well, now we're both eating. We can't talk.
It tastes like a cheeseburger.
A bacon cheeseburger. Yeah.
But this is pizza.
Bacon cheeseburger pizza. Yes. It's supposed to taste like a bacon cheeseburger and be pizza.
So pizza isn't a flavor, but burger is a flavor.
Pizza is not a flavor. It's a food.
It's a flavor right here.
No, the flavor is bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Pizza is the canvas of which I painted it on.
But isn't a burger also not a flavor sometimes? But it is.
Cheeseburger flavor?
Why is a burger a flavor, but a pizza is not a flavor?
I don't know. Is a burger a flavor? I've never heard of a burger being a flavor.
Tonight?
A bacon cheeseburger. That's specific.
You take all that off.
You can't just say burger. Like that's.
You take everything else off and leave the burger.
The hamburger?
Yeah. Why is it called hamburger?
It's not made of ham.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of ham. Oh wait, no, there's no ham. Abram.
Abram without the ham.
Just Abram.
Yeah. So tonight we're talking about Abraham.
No, we're not.
Formerly known as Abram. This picks up with the descendants of Noah. So Noah, after the flood, gets off the ark. He's got 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. They each go their own way and go make nations, whatever. Shem is the great, probably, I don't know, 9.
I'm going to fact check you on that.
I'm completely guessing, but I'm going to say between 9 and 12 generations. It was 390 years of Shem's sons having more sons. And then Terah...
How old did Shem live? Do we know? If we don't know, it's fine.
It says it in there, I'm sure. This is right after the Tower of Babel, too, so it covers that. Shem was 100 years old when he became the father of Arphaxad. That's quite the name. Then after that... He lived 500 years and had other sons and daughters. He's 600,
so he was alive to
see
Abram, probably. If you said 300-something years. Mm-hmm. So he was alive to see Abram. That's pretty cool.
And it goes to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Abram was the 9th. How's that for a fact check? 390 years from Shem to Abram. Abram was born, it just mentions the father's names, it never mentions the mom, but Terah was the father's name.
Sounds like a mom's name.
It does. It's Terah though. Terah. Maybe he says it like kind of a tougher way. I don't know. He was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And I'm covering this because it brings up a little discussion topic here. I don't know if you caught this or not.
Probably not.
So Abram's dad had Nahor and Haran. So Abram had 2 brothers.
Like you're saying they're triplets?
No, I don't think they were triplets. I think they were just brothers.
Yeah.
Haran was the father of Milcah, Lot, and Issachar.
Oh, you're talking about they're related.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarai, Sarah?
No, Sarai, no. I'll get to it. All right?
I know they're related.
Sarai is not...
They're like a half-sister. Half-brother, sister.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
All right, unless you want to just keep guessing.
My bad. I mean, I knew it, but I was like, no, I didn't catch it. But I'm like,
I do
oh,
this
wait.
all the time. I do that. Haran was the father of Milcah, Lot, and Iscah. So Lot, Milcah, and Iscah were the nieces and nephews of Abram and Nahor. So Abram married Sarai. It doesn't say where Sarai came from. It just says she was super duper hot. That comes into play later on. But
yeah.
Quite a bit.
At 65.
Yeah. Crazy, right? So Abram married Sarai. Nahor, who was Abram's brother, married Milcah, who was his brother's daughter. So he married his niece. I don't know how customary that was back then. If they were allowed to do that.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Which I'm like, because I don't view as many people back then, but I guess there are a lot of people.
There's enough to where you don't have to marry your niece, bro.
I would think so, but dude, I don't know, because it happens.
Desperate times? I think that's too close to the bloodline.
I
Like,
would
how did they
agree.
not have all these mutated people?
Well, they're still close to the beginning to not have these problems.
Because I thought if you were close enough to the bloodline, you would have babies with defects. Mm-hmm. Do you think that didn't come into play until later on?
Yeah, I think it's a bit later. But I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just kind of a weird fact.
Are you sure it doesn't say where Sarai comes from? Because I'm pretty sure that him and Abram and her are related.
I didn't see it.
Well, so it mentions it later on, actually, like in chapter 20.
What's it say?
This is just the quick Google thing. States that Sarah was my father's daughter, but not my mother's. So this means that they shared a father, Terah, but not the same mother. So I haven't read that yet, so I'm not quite there.
So they were halves?
Yeah, still too close. I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, I thought
everyone is related.
Nahor marrying his niece was
weird.
That's bad enough, but now you got the half sis going.
Yeah. The niece might be worse though.
I don't think so.
The age difference too. You gotta. I don't know the ages. But niece doesn't necessarily mean that it's super younger, but typically.
Your brother's daughter?
But it depends. Especially
if your
then
brother's
if
a
they're
lot
having
older.
kids. Yeah, if you're having kids between 30 and 100.
His daughter could have been like the same age.
Yeah.
I like to think of it that way. That way it's less
Yeah.
it's less creepy.
Yeah.
Let's assume they were the same age. But
Yeah.
yeah, niece versus half sister is I don't know.
Tough one to choose.
I'd say no to both, but I think half sister would be worse. Because that's direct bloodline. Like you share the same parent. Not like
Or Old Testament terms, the same loins. King James up in here.
Yeah.
They share the same loins.
You're coming from the same loin.
Yeah.
Wait, did it say they had the same father or same mother?
Father.
See, that's even a little bit better.
That's better than the same mother?
I think so. Because the same mother is like...
I get.
You're like...
That's a tough one, man.
You're
They're the
you
same.
grew in the same womb. Whereas if it's same father, it's just like a farmer throwing seed. It's just you're gonna grow up in the same field. It's a little bit better.
I guess.
It's still unacceptable.
Yeah.
I'm just for the record.
I don't know. I think coming from the same loins would be worse than the same womb.
What do you mean?
I just think that's weirder to be together, two separate loin people and two separate womb people.
What do you mean by loin? What do you?
Same father. I think that's weirder.
You think same father is weirder than same mother?
Yeah.
There's no way.
It just is.
There is so much more genetic involvement coming from the same mother.
I don't think so.
You were both literally attached to that same woman, feeding and growing.
It's probably 50-50 in the same, but for some reason I feel like
I'm no genetic scientist, but I just feel like the father...
I just feel like there's a lot of DNA coming from the father.
There's a little more distant.
I feel like there's more DNA coming from the father than the mother.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
Is it worth Googling?
Maybe.
Now I'm curious.
But that also comes from just Amory's pregnant, so we've looked up certain health things with people getting pregnant easier and not easier, and it's like, sometimes the male, they're not to blame, but it's their stuff. The woman thinks it's their fault, but it's like actually ends up being a lot of health things come from the father. So that's just recently in my head. So that might be why it's weirder.
Yeah, but how many times in the Bible has that ever happened? It's always been the woman.
That's barren.
It's always been the woman. If somebody couldn't have a baby, it was like, okay, here, sleep with my maidservant, sleep with my slave, sleep with my sisters, whatever.
Yeah.
Sleep with anybody else but me. And then it's like, first time they conceived. Never once that I've read so far.
Yeah.
In the Bible, does it claim any man was impotent? Was that like a super
They just
bad...
didn't have problems.
Was that a super bad thing back then if you were impotent? Because if a woman couldn't have children, she was like on the Dunzo list.
Yeah.
But if a guy couldn't have children, is there any Bible story where like the woman was fertile, the man couldn't do anything?
Highly doubt it.
And then they just like
Highly doubt it.
killed him or something?
Or the man's like, let me go find another man for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is there any... I can't think of one,
Nope.
but... I mean, I'm no biblical scholar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not there.
Pretty crazy.
It's interesting.
It is. Like, or do they just not even record that? They're like, no, don't write that. Don't write that. They're going to take away my man card.
Mm-hmm. That's possible. I often wonder what isn't recorded.
A lot.
Yeah.
Where was it? Was it in Matthew? Where it said even if all of the miracles Jesus performed were recorded... There wouldn't be enough space in the world to fit all the books.
I don't know if it said that, but...
It said something like that.
I think it was there wouldn't be enough space to contain it in a book.
A book? No, dude.
I think that's what it
No.
I don't know if it said the world.
It said there would not be enough space.
I don't know. It's a lot, regardless.
Not a book.
I think that's what he said.
No, it's like the world wouldn't be able to fit the number of books they would have to write. That's what's in my head.
I can't wrap my head around that. It doesn't make sense. to me. I don't know. I'll check it out later.
It doesn't make sense that God could do more miracles than you can conceive.
He can, but
That's pretty easy.
but if his miracles,
Even though I know you can imagine anything.
I can't. Yeah, it's hard for me to think about.
I finally found something you can't imagine.
Dude, someone commented.
Point.
Someone commented, "Imagine a new color." I'm like, crap. You got me, frick.
No, dude, you should come back with one.
Just like some weird arrangement of letters. And then the crazier thing is Jesus says we're supposed to do even more than him, which could be cool, but I think it's sad because I don't see that happening.
Why not?
I just don't see that happening.
There was one Jesus. There's how many billions of people on the earth? If everybody on the earth does one thing,
miraculous thing,
miraculously, which
what miraculous?
God could allow it if people were willing.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I see it and I'm sad because I'm like, we're missing the mark. Like we should be doing a whole lot more and we're not. Something's missing, and it's sad.
Well, we're getting closer every day. I think. I hope. I want to hope. I want to hope that mankind's getting closer every day.
So where were we? Not even started really.
An hour in and we're already. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So Abram, was it like just randomly God speaks to him?
Yeah. I don't know what made him more special than his brothers, but God doesn't have to justify who or why he picks.
He has
people.
favorites, and that's fine.
He does. Everybody has favorites.
Mm-hmm. We know.
We know. We're not going to go into that. Everybody's my favorite. So God told Abram to leave his country and go to the land that he directs him.
Yeah.
So he takes Sarai and Lot, his nephew, and all their stuff, and then they hit the road. Abram was 75 years old when he left.
Do you think age back then, like we mentioned, the Sarai 65 and still beautiful, it's just like they age slower? They have to, right? So like 75 is really like 30, like physically wise.
You think they didn't look like today's 75-year-old?
No. It has to be like that, right?
No.
Like they're just that much healthier and that much...
No, because most of the biblical characters have like long gray beards.
Yeah, from drawings, from people who haven't seen them. From people who think, 75 is old, which it is. It's old.
So you think biblical times was like
dog years?
Like Twilight?
Yeah.
Everyone's just like...
Well, no, because Twilight, they don't age at all, I think. I could be wrong with that. I feel like they don't age at all. Because he's like 300 years old and he's still like 20. He's got like this huge past of like all these things.
Yeah.
They definitely age slow. Back then, I'm saying like biblically. They have to.
I kind of like to picture like...
A beautiful 65-year-old. You like to picture that? Clipping that. Christian, breaking news. Christian likes to picture a 65-year-old smoking hot.
No, that was out of context. That was out of context. Like Sarai, you would picture like 65 years old, but everyone thinks she's beautiful.
She's gotta be like 30.
She probably has like nice silver hair or whatever. Like,
there's no way. It doesn't make sense.
You think she looks 30?
She got to.
What's crazy?
She probably looks 25. He probably looks 30.
Well, he probably ages and she doesn't. Because everywhere they go, they're like, no, you're too hot. We can't go in there. But we're
it everywhere? I know it's one place.
That's the only place they went.
It's
the only place they documented.
So they're traveling with Lot.
So
they actually get to Canaan, which is the promised land.
Yeah.
And then they leave.
Well, there's a severe famine, right? Which is that the same famine like during Joseph's time period? Because it says
you have to. It
says
because Joseph's dead.
What about this whole happening at the same time, different story thing?
That was only Eden.
I'm just throwing out.
That was only Eden.
Because it says there was a severe famine in the land.
Yeah.
So Abram went to Egypt to live there for a while. So like
he shouldn't have done that.
Which means the only place to go where you could survive was Egypt because they had all of the food.
Not if you trust God, right? I take that as
I'm just going.
I take that as he is he's doing it on his own. He's not supposed to. He should have just hung out in Canaan.
Well, he knew when he went to Egypt because Sarai was so beautiful.
Mm. So he tells his half-sister, hey, pretend to be my sister. Oh, that'll be easy.
It's only a half lie because he thought they would kill him to take her. Mm-hmm. So then when they go into Egypt, it says all the people saw how beautiful she was.
Maybe that was him, what we're looking for. He's not having a kid, so he's like, hey, maybe you can have a kid through these Egyptians.
No, I don't think that's the case. But they go in. It says everyone thought she was beautiful. Then the Pharaoh's officials saw how beautiful she was and then went and bragged about her to Pharaoh. And then Pharaoh's like,
let me see.
All right, I'm going to take her to be my wife. 65 years old to get that much recognition just from walking into a town.
Yeah, all those people.
There's hope. There's hope.
Was it because they were just it's like in school when there's a new girl? It's like, oh, she's pretty. She's just new. You've seen everyone else already, so she's just new.
Egypt was pretty big. I don't think they saw everybody.
But they look different.
The moral of the story is
look
that
different.
if you're 65 years old and you think it's too late to look hot, it's not. You can do it.
I disagree. But okay.
It's right here. It's right here. It's in the good book. 65 is 65.
But I don't think she was wrinkled. I don't think she was grayed.
Not all 65-year-olds are wrinkled or grayed. And even if she was, she could still look beautiful.
Yeah. But the context of this beautiful is not, oh, beautiful. It's hot. She's hot.
That's the way that they portray it here. That's why I use the term hot.
Yeah.
Everyone knew the Pharaoh was going to take her.
No point in trying.
No. She's 65 years old. Pharaoh takes her to be his wife. Then God puts severe disease on Pharaoh and his household because of what he did to Sarai. What kind of disease? You think an STD kind of disease? Wait, did he sleep
like
with
plagues,
her, or
wasn't
did he just attempt to?
We don't know, but I think so. It was like, hey, you're going to be my wife. Day one.
Going to be my wife, though.
Day one of being a wife. Back then, we know things are going down.
It says, the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife, Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram.
It could be STDs.
It's just Pharaoh and his household. So, I mean, if Pharaoh was sleeping with more people, could have been.
It probably was.
But then that would mean Sarai had one, and that's not cool. And it could have been like plague-like stuff.
It could have happened after Sarai.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Then Pharaoh summoned Abram. What have you done to me? Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she's my sister? So I took her to be my wife. Now then, here's your wife. Take her and go. And then Pharaoh sent them on their way with all the gifts. Because when Pharaoh took her to be his wife, he gave Abram like everything. Like servants, cattle, livestock, all that stuff. So when he sent them on their way, he let them keep it, which is kind of cool. Because then, after that, it says Abram became very wealthy in livestock, silver, and gold.
In people. I always pictured him fairly small, like alone, like just him and his family. Anytime I ever thought of him. But that's not the case. We'll learn a little bit later. But
Abram had a huge family.
Yeah, I never thought of that. I thought it was like him, later on his kid, and his wives. I thought that was basically it.
His legacy is literally...
Until then, though.
Like the father of the world. Like he had more offspring than the stars in the sky.
Yeah, but not yet.
Not yet. But...
So I'm thinking like right now, he's like, oh, it's just like little old him, but it ends up being, there's more people. So I think they were in Canaan, and they went to Egypt. I think he's supposed to stay in Canaan. And God's like, you shouldn't have done that. I'm going to make you come back to Canaan. So he did, through the plagues or diseases. But I think that's like things that like, it's there, but like we don't notice it. I feel like he was supposed to stay in Canaan, and he took it upon himself to be like, no, I'm going to Egypt.
Well, in verse 4 it says, so Abram left as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out. So this is like, okay, the Lord told him to go. He goes to Canaan. Then he goes to live near the great tree of Morah at Shechem. How big do you think the great tree was? Wasn't it like a desert area?
I have no idea.
Was it like a sapling, and because it was the only tree around,
that was why it was great.
They called it the great tree.
It was the only tree. That's why it was great.
Like when you hear the great tree of a place, you think
big.
of like a redwood tree or something. But
yeah, I want to see the redwoods one day.
They don't have. I'm sure they don't have those out in this area. So then it says the Lord appeared to Abram, said, "I'll give you all this land." So he built an altar. And then he went towards the hills of Bethel, pitched his tent, and then continued toward Negev. And then it says, now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while because the famine was severe. So it never says God told him to, but there were a couple of other places it didn't mention. Mm-hmm. But that's an interesting theory, though, because if that was the case, I might explain it. But because my original thought was like, if you knew they were going to kill you because of your wife, why would you go?
Just don't go. Yeah.
But because of the famine, I don't think they had a. In their mind, they didn't have a choice.
Yeah, he's just trying, doing his best. So they built an altar, goes to Egypt. I think when they leave Egypt, he goes back to that same place.
He went to the place he was going to begin with. He went to Negev. It says, so Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev with his wife and everything he had. Lot went with him. Then they went from Negev to Bethel, which is where they were. Yeah.
So he hears from God, goes out, and then things happen. So he returns back to where he heard from God, which I think is cool. So he's like, I got to hear again. I gotta get back on track.
He had a little detour. But then it says him and Lot had so much livestock, the land couldn't support them. So their herders started fighting with each other. Then Abram was like, let's split up.
I love you, but we gotta split.
I love you, but you and your sheep have to go. So Lot headed east.
He gave Lot the decision.
He did, and he looked around and saw the plain of Jordan, which was
Looked waterful.
Yeah, it looked
like
it looked lush.
Yeah, it even mentions it looks similar to the Garden of Eden.
The Garden of Eden, yeah. So he chooses that and then heads east. Which, again, speech is good. To your point of, we were talking about Adam and Eve, that the further east you go, the further away from God you go. So
Like,
far,
what if he chose the other way?
so far it's still holding true. Yeah. But the second he left, God came down to Abram and was like, I'm just going to give you all this land anyway. So he can go east if he wants, but you're going to have the east too.
He's like, I'll bless him, but not the same.
Yeah. So they separate, go on their own way. Then there starts to be some battles with the kings. Mm-hmm. So there are 5 kings in the area that have been subject.
Bunch of weird names.
Yeah, I can't pronounce them.
I don't even remember
but
where they're from.
It says several kings were subject to another king named Kedorlaomer. I think that's exactly how they say it. Sure. For 12 years, but in the 13th year they rebelled. So 5 kings, including the king of Sodom and the king of Gomorrah, and the kings of 3 other random places, they go to battle with this Kedorlaomer guy, and they get smoked. So not only do they get beat, but then it says, like, in the land of, I think it's Siddith, the valley of Siddith. It says, when they fled, the valley of Siddim, Siddim, was full of tar pits, and some of the men fell into them.
So I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't either. Like, how do you?
I googled it. I'm like, that's
how do you
weird.
How do you not dodge a tar pit? Like, wouldn't they be pretty?
I would think you can see
evident?
it. Yeah.
And how?
And is it like quicksand?
It's tar. It's probably hot.
Oh yeah. How hot though? Like just hot from the sun?
Bubbling hot.
Bubbling.
Tar it solidifies when it cools. So I mean, tar is in liquid form when it's like boiling hot. Like, always picture like in the movies when they have. Yeah, the tar pits are like.
Never seen a tar pit.
Boiling. You never watched The Croods? Croods 2? Specifically?
No. I don't have kids. I know what it is though.
So we didn't have kids when we watched it.
Tar pit, boiling point or something?
So what's the temperature of a natural tar pit?
Okay.
Croods 2 is a good movie and they have tar pits. Although they weren't like boiling alive when they were in them. They were just kind of stuck.
Might be what it is. Like it's like quicksand, right?
Yeah, but how do you...
Natural tar pits temperatures generally reflect the ambient temperature of the surrounding environment, although the dark asphalt can absorb more solar radiation, making it feel warmer to the touch, especially on sunny days. Like 100 degrees, if it's a hot day.
So it's got to be more like quicksand then than like a boiling hot tarry death.
Yeah. Is quicksand like how we think it is as a kid? Or is it not as bad? Or is it worse? Or is it the same?
How do you think it is?
Like a tar pit?
Quicksand is just very loose sand.
It can't be that loose, or you just come out.
No, it's so loose that when you move, it creates more air pockets that make you sink further. Which is why they say don't move. I don't know the whole science behind it.
That would suck.
But I know like it's super loose, so when you try and move, it just makes you sink further under because it opens up.
So honestly, I can't remember what happened. So I know there's wars, they flee, they fall in tar pits. I know Abram comes in with people.
Check this out. 5 kings, including Sodom and Gomorrah's king, which I'm calling out specifically because those are the only towns that we're really going to get into more detail on later.
Yeah.
They flee. While they're fleeing, some of the men fall into the tar pits. Then the Kedorlaomer guy and those kings take all of their food and their goods as kind of like spoils of war.
Yeah. Probably women.
And while they're at it, they took Lot and all of his possessions because he was living in Sodom at the time. Then one of the guys...
That's when Abram comes in.
Yeah. Abram comes in like John Wick. Because, get this, right? A guy escapes, goes and tells Abram, bro, your nephew was taken by these 4 kings that just devastated 5 other kings. So they were even outnumbered.
King-wise, outnumbered. Yeah, the people.
King-wise. Hey, king-wise.
That's what I think is funny. They mentioned that. I'm like, no relevance. There's no numbers behind that. But all right.
But typically, when you have 5 against 4, it's
all right.
Either way.
You got Apple, Amazon, Walmart, and McDonald's versus Waffle House, local church on the corner, gas station, that isn't a big brand
QT?
name. Yeah. Which one's going to win?
Okay, well, yeah, when you put it that way,
Yeah.
I get it. But either way,
I guess I could have used actual
Abram-
countries instead of like businesses. I don't know why that popped in my head.
I like the business metaphor.
Business rules the world.
It
I guess.
worked.
Yeah.
You could have just said Amazon and Google, and then everything
Done.
else is just devastated. So Abram finds out that his nephew Lot was taken by these kings that defeated all the other kings because he was living in Sodom, which I don't know if Lot was participating in that stuff.
What happens over there?
Sodom, it wasn't really a great place of moral being, so to speak. So anyway, Abram takes 318 trained fighters within his household.
That's what blows my mind. I'm like, I didn't know there's that many people.
Within his household, it says.
Yeah. And that's the trained fighter. That's not, there's still other people that are just untrained and women. Yeah, I can't. I learned, that's something new that I learned.
So he takes 318 of these trained fighters. They go out at night. Abram's leading them. They split up.
Can't you have like bow and arrow or like just knives?
Swords, spears, bow and arrow, all the biblical weapons. They split up and they go and defeat these 4 kings. Yeah. Abram and the people in his house beat the like 4 kings. Nations. Yeah. The 4 kings that have been ruling for the last 12 years, and who just beasted the other 5 kings in the region.
Yeah.
And Abram just John Wicked them with 318 people. Like,
was it in one day? One day and done?
I think so. They were just like, okay. They get on their camels. I like to picture it like a biblical movie scene mixed with an action movie today. Mm-hmm. So you see like their camels, and they're like sheathing the weapons on the animals, like like a close up of the sword.
Yeah.
Like magazines.
Like was it like a montage?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of the preparations, war paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couple push-ups. Yeah. Right.
Abram's just like the war paint.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Drink a beer.
Yeah.
Wine.
Probably wine.
They didn't have beer back then, huh?
Not.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
To think about that.
Yeah, probably wine.
They had like unlimited supplies of wine.
It seems like, yeah.
But beer didn't exist.
Wine is always there, seems like.
I'm curious when the first beer existed. I don't know.
When did fizzy stuff come?
Carbonation?
Yeah.
Fizzy stuff?
Yeah. Carbonation. Who decided, I want to drink air? That's weird.
Know.
I don't think we're supposed to drink air, honestly. But I love it. It's so good.
As we're drinking it right now.
It's so good.
It really is amazing.
Trying to drink water sucks. So I'm like, give me the airy water. Give me the water that's fizzy. It's weird.
But I digressed us. But I do like to picture like an action movie montage when they go out. Because they go out, defeat them, get Lot,
horseback,
and the other people. It says the other people that were taken too.
They basically get everything back.
And then they come home. Then the king of Sodom comes over to Abram and is like...
Still covered in tar.
Yeah, yeah. And he's trying to give him gifts, and Abram's like, nah, bro. I'm not going to take a single thing. It says, like, not even a strap of a sandal. Like, why would anyone want a strap of a sandal?
Maybe it had more meaning then. I don't know.
A strap of a sandal?
I don't know.
Was that like a big thing?
I don't know. Like a symbolic thing? No idea. Probably did have symbolic meaning at some point. We don't know. So it's like the whole like small little things, like when you read about Jesus coming out of the grave and he like folds his little grave cloth of whatever, and like you just read over it like, oh, okay, whatever. But it's like, oh, that actually has like meaning. It's probably maybe little sandal strap had meaning at that time. I don't know. Yeah, and then this other guy just pops up to, was it praise him or?
That's the king of Sodom.
No, this other guy, Melchizedek. How do you say it? How do you pronounce his name?
Melchizedek?
Sure. Melchizedek.
What happens there?
I wish I could remember the freaking words.
Well, it would be in chapter 14.
Yeah. After his return from the defeat of Tigger
Melchizedek, king of Salem.
Yeah.
Brought out bread and wine. See, told you they had wine.
Yeah. Which I think is cool. So Melchizedek, do you know what his name means? What Melchizedek means? It means, I think it's king of righteousness. Yes, king of righteousness is what Melchizedek means, or whatever, however you pronounce it. And then king of Salem, you know what Salem means?
Which?
No, it means peace. King of peace. King of righteousness, the king of peace. Brings out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram by God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. So Melchizedek is cool because
Abram gave him a tenth of everything.
Yeah. And then he basically tithes to this guy that just pops up out of nowhere. Did you mention a couple weeks ago in your little study y'all read Hebrews?
My little study? It was a big study. It was a big boy study.
My bad.
Our small group covered Hebrews.
Did you cover Melchizedek in Hebrews?
I think we did, but it was a while ago.
So
I need a refresher on that one.
there's a lot of you've already heard of me saying maybe Jesus wrestled Esau. Have you ever heard of other examples of maybe Jesus is in the Old Testament? Was the fiery furnace? There's another guy in the furnace it was Jesus in the Old Testament. You heard of stuff like that? Mm-hmm. So there's other examples of stuff like that. And this could be also one of them. King of righteousness, king of peace, brings out bread and wine. And who else is known for bread and wine? The Last Supper. I just think it's cool. So then in Hebrews...
It is. It says he was priest of God Most High.
Yeah. So you could just take this person away.
So was he God's pastor?
This is Hebrews 5:5. So also Christ did not exalt himself to be made a high priest, but was appointed by him who said to him, "You are my son, today I have begotten you." As he says also in another place, "You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek," which is also in Psalms. And after that, chapter 7, I think it's most of chapter 7. Nope, just verse 3 verses. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him, and to him Abraham apportioned a tenth part of everything. He is first, by translation of his name, king of righteousness, and then he is also king of Salem, that is, king of peace. He is without father or mother or genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but resembling the Son of God, he continues a priest forever. It's just cool. I don't know.
That's deep.
Yeah. I think it even talks about him more later in chapter 7, but
yeah. That's pretty cool you put that together. I like that.
Bible footnotes help.
It's AI generated?
No, the footnotes, with the letters. And then,
Hey, Gemini, what are your thoughts on Melchizedek?
Gemini?
That's that new Google one. It doesn't really...
I thought it was
doesn't really work well.
and then in Psalms, David is saying, which is interesting to me, because it starts off, the Psalm 110, "The Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool." So it's David is saying, and Lord is capital Lord, says to my Lord, all caps, says to my Lord, only capital L. So I'm is that the Lord God talking to the Lord Jesus in David's little psalm? And then he mentions Melchizedek. "The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek." I don't know, it's just some cool stuff with this Melchizedek that just pops up. And it's oh, here I am. And then nothing else after this.
And Abram gave him tithe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a interesting thing.
Yeah. Just ran. He's oh, here, have a tenth.
That sounds
what made him do that? Think of that.
You think he asked for it?
No, I don't think so. And I'm how does a tenth just pop in your head? You're oh, here's a tenth.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Sounds like a question for Sunday school with Tim.
Oh, that'd be fun. That would be really fun.
Well, we'll jot that note down and we'll discuss it. We still have a few more weeks before we get to that.
Yeah.
After that, in chapter 15, God makes a covenant with Abram. Abram told God he had no children, so God promised him that he was going to make him, the father of many nations. Had him go outside and look at the stars and said, you're going to have more offspring than the stars in the sky.
Is he 75 now, or he's 99?
He's way older. He's 99.
That's another thing that catches me off guard. We want to hear from God now all the time. These guys, he recorded at least, wait years, and sometimes through big events. They're big people with big purpose, and they have to wait years to hear from him. He was 75 and now he's 99, I think, something like that. That's crazy.
Yep.
That hits me sometimes. I'm oh, okay, let me calm down. Let me chill out.
But imagine God telling you you're going to have more kids than stars in the sky. Yeah. I'd be no, please. 2 is enough.
Do I have to raise them? How do you come up with that many names? Please don't make me name them all.
He's I'll send back the spirit of Adam. Do you think he was excited about that, or do you think he was terrified?
I think he was excited. Probably both, yeah. But he's probably excited. He's I've been hearing about this for years. His name, Abram, means exalted father. Something like that. Just Abram means... Yeah, Abram means... I'm pretty sure it's exalted father. And later on his name changes. But
Well, in Genesis chapter 16, Sarai didn't have any children, so she told Abram to take her maidservant, Hagar, so that he could have children. And he slept with her, and then she conceived.
And he probably thinks he's doing the right thing.
You told me to, right? But after she conceived, Sarai started despising her and treating her like garbage. Do you remember that in the story?
Yeah.
She told Abram to sleep with her maidservant and then got mad when she got pregnant. Like,
Yeah. Like,
how
so
does
at
that
first,
make any sense?
At first, I was like, oh, are women, when she had the idea first, like, hey, let me give him Hagar. I'm like, women, they're just not possessive? Like, they don't care?
She was hoping Abram was impotent. There was a test. And when she found out
or
he
just
wasn't...
testing to hope he would say no in general.
Guys aren't going to say no back then. They were
Yeah,
they
kids.
took whatever opportunity they could to make kids.
Give me kids. Yeah, it's like they're not possessive. They're like, hell yeah, you can have my husband. Yeah, blah, blah. But it turns out, no, she's a little...
Here's some mandrakes.
She's a little upset. Yeah.
So yeah, it says she despised her and started treating her like very, very badly. To the point where Hagar ran away from
Runs
home.
away.
But then an angel comes to her and is like, go back and submit to Sarai and
Name your kid
name
Ishmael.
name your son Ishmael. Then it says the angel told her that the son is going to be against everyone and everyone's going to be against him and he's going to be like a wild donkey.
I don't know what that means. Wild donkey.
It means like just an untamed...
He shall be a wild donkey of a man.
Yeah. I would not be excited. That doesn't sound like a kid anyone would want to have. Am I wrong?
I don't know. But she's excited about it.
If somebody said, "Hey, your kid is going to be hated by everyone. He's going to hate everyone, and he's going to be like a wild donkey," I would not be pumped about that.
She was excited, and she says, "This is the God who sees me and hears me," and then she goes back.
So Abram was 86 years old when Ishmael was born,
and it's cool. So Abram names him Ishmael. So Hagar had to tell him the story of, "Hey, this is what happened to me," and he has to be like, "Okay, yeah, checks out, sounds right."
It checks out.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And so I do want to go back to 15 also, when he talks to the Lord, when God talks to Abram again. I just thought it was funny. He's like telling him all these things, and then like in the middle of it, he's like, "I'm the Lord who did this to you. Like, this is who I am." Like, it's like in the middle of it, he's like, who are you again? Like, he has to remind him, like, hey, I'm God Almighty, basically. Like, I'm Yahweh. You called to me. I've already spoken to you before. It's like, yeah, that's still me, by the way. Just letting you know.
You think he had to remind him?
Remind Abram.
Why?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Probably not exactly what happened, but it's just the way I read it. I was like, that's funny. Just another fun little note. As for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. He's like, this is what's going to happen. You're going to die peacefully.
So that goes along the line of, would you rather know how you're going to die or when you're going to die?
And then, yeah. But then he says, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. And then the other translation I was reading is like, their iniquity has not come to full measure or something like that. And like,
they're not bad enough?
Yeah, I'm like, they're gonna be bad, but they're not yet. Like that.
They're bad. They're just not at the level where I'm just fed up with it.
But they're going to be, is what he's saying. Like,
well, they're on the.
Like that's gonna happen.
If they're on that glide path, then so be it. You know.
But like, it made me think like, oh, is he like measuring them, and is there potential like they could have got better, but they just didn't? And that's what I'm also thinking. Like other stories that we don't know about. Like, what is God doing with other people that isn't recorded? If he is, but he's got to, right? There's Melchizedek is his most high priest.
Yeah,
like that blows my mind. There's so many other things happening outside of this. That blows my mind. That's wild. Okay, so back to Ishmael's born.
So Ishmael's born. He's a wild donkey. Abram's 86 years old. So then in Genesis 17,
13 years.
What's 13? Oh yeah.
Dang.
In Genesis 17. God comes, he changes Abram's name to Abraham. Says, you're going to be a father of many nations, so I'm going to call you Abraham. So this is where Abram changes to Abraham. Then he tells him that every male is to be circumcised. And in future generations, every child 8 days old, including those born in his household or bought with money from a foreigner.
Yeah.
So could you just
crazy
buy kids whenever you wanted?
Kids,
if it was that easy, why would people get so upset if they couldn't bear children?
It's not their children. It's different.
But you could just
it's not from his loins.
like, did they just have like a cart with kids in it, and you like foreigners just travel around
Kid
selling?
bank. Oh, it's terrible.
Like, how is that possible?
I took that more of like just
Would you
purchasing
think that's
slaves.
like, is that like adoption?
I guess it could be kids. I guess it could be.
No, it says
Buying foreigners. I took it as slaves. Buying slaves.
every child 8 days old, including those born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner. That means
Well, if the kid was...
if you're buying freshly born babies.
If you bought like a 20-year-old guy who then had a kid with someone... That's what I'm thinking. When that kid turns 8.
Oh, you bought the parent that comes with the kid?
Yeah.
So you bought the parent as a slave, and then the kid just came along with him?
No,
See,
after he's born.
But
that too.
I'm picturing like a merchant cart full of like newborn infants, and they just go up there and
I picture
buy 'em.
like I picture like a carnival. Like you just go into town and it's like a carnival, and like there's a section where it's like
pop some balloons, win a baby.
Here's the other freaks that we're selling. They don't do any tricks. That's what I'm imagining. It's pretty sad. But yeah, every male throughout your generations, whether born in your house or bought with your money. So mine has a period after the 8 days thing, so it's just saying in general. Every male throughout your generations, whether born in your house or bought with your money from any foreigner who is not of your offspring.
Okay, generations come every male who is 8 days old must be circumcised, including those born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner. Those who are not your offspring. There's no period for mine.
There's another period.
Like, was adoption that easy? Why did we make it so complicated now? Do you know how hard it is to adopt a kid nowadays?
Dude,
and like now we need them like the most?
And expensive.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine if like the ice cream truck came down, you could just buy a baby.
How would they keep those babies alive in a truck? How many babies
Ice
could
cream,
you fit?
bro. You give them ice cream.
Like formula cream?
No.
Just ice cream?
Give them a popsicle.
Oh, bro.
They get
Those
hydrated.
poor babies.
No. What are you talking about? What poor baby would be upset about getting ice cream?
They're not going to get any nutrients.
Yeah, they will. You can eat a drumstick, and then they get the peanuts. They get protein from the peanuts, dairy from the chocolate and the ice cream,
When are they able to have
and
peanuts?
wheat and grains from the cone. It's a whole balanced meal right there.
And sugar.
And sugar. And they can go find a home.
You're making it sound like
think
this,
I gotta
this is
start a
what
new
we should be
business.
doing. What would your price be?
For a baby?
Yeah.
It depends on how well behaved they were. If you had like the baby that was screaming in the truck the whole time and like just unsettled,
Clearance.
yeah, I might be like, buy one, get this
Like,
one free.
is there a tag on their little foot? Like a hospital tag?
It's not a
but it's
wristband.
price?
They have wristbands
It's
with the price on it.
Price tag? So then
Yeah.
you like mark it out and write a new price because he's clearance?
Yeah, 50% off, or buy one, get this one free.
Mm.
Just to get him out of my truck because he's ruining the music. Can't even hear the music over his crying.
That's so sad.
But hey, if people wanted the responsibility of adopting a child and taking care of a child that didn't have parents, it's a perfect delivery system.
But I think he definitely wanted to be his own.
But that's what they have back here. And 8 days old, you're getting circumcised,
Yeah.
which is way better
You're older.
than being Ishmael, who,
At 13.
who Abram circumcised at 13.
Yeah.
And Abraham.
Yeah.
And Abraham was 99.
Yeah. And then all those 300 plus trained men, not
Everybody.
counting the untrained men.
All of them.
And it says Abraham does this. I'm pretty sure he does it the same day. Mm-hmm. Do you think he personally
So
did
that
it?
very day.
Do you think he personally did that too?
I think he personally did his own.
So is he going like house to house or like tent to tent? Like, all right, buddy, this is what's happening.
I think he was that stone cold.
Like, he just did it. Like, this is what's happening. Boom. Done.
Dude, he and his household defeated the entire kings of the nation.
And they're just like, yeah,
I
man,
think-
I got you.
I think everyone was lined up and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get this
Like an
done.
auditorium, like town meeting.
And Abraham's like, quit being sissies. And he like just cuts
So
his
just
own.
in line, just waiting. Oh, God, he does himself first.
He does himself first right in front of everybody. He's like, quit being sissies. Just
Does
cut
he,
it
like,
off.
pats
Then he picks
himself?
up, throws it at him. Now, next in line.
Is his son next? Or he like,
His son was next, definitely.
oh,
I think he did
Had to be.
did Ishmael next, yeah.
yeah. And next in line.
Yeah.
He's just doing every single,
Yeah, and he's like bleeding all over the place still.
he didn't patch himself. And
No,
it's just,
he's just trying to make sure like all the other guys are just quit being wusses.
all right. There's a little bit
No.
more. Sorry.
Oh, missed a little.
You're good. All right, next.
Do you think it was like one and done, or do you think he had to like saw it?
Like a couple of them, he's like one and done, and then like every 3 or 4, he's like, oh sorry, oh.
No, it's like a what do they call those? Like a med student. You know, like when they're first on the job, they're learning. So like the first 10 guys probably had it the worst. They were probably mangled.
Yeah.
But then by the 300th,
but it would be sharper.
By the 300th, dude, they were just like, oh, I didn't even feel that. You're done? Oh, okay, cool.
Nah, they all felt it.
You think so?
Yeah. That's a funny idea though. Like first couple. Oh, sorry, man. Let me just sharpen it real quick. He's just like in agony.
I think it was a learning curve.
Cuts.
Because
had to be.
Because this didn't happen before, right? This was the first time circumcision was ever.
Well, I think it was happening. I think I read somewhere it was like Egyptians did it. Like they had customs where they did things like it.
But this is the first time Abraham has ever heard of it, right?
Probably not. He's been in Egypt, but is it the first time he's done it? Positive.
It's probably the first time Ishmael has ever heard of it.
Yeah, probably.
Could you imagine? He's like, "Wait, what are you going to do to me?"
God, at 13.
Dad, come on, Dad, please. I won't play video games anymore. I promise.
That's crazy.
Would you rather be 13 years old or 99 when you get circumcised?
99.
Assuming you're in that
back then
situation.
So like 99 is like 40.
No, 99 being 99.
Oh, the 99. I'll just die. I don't care.
He wouldn't die. He didn't die.
Yeah, because he's actually like 40.
No.
Gotta be. He's not 99 like today's 99 at all. There's no way. It's different. He's lived 99 years,
How do you
yes. Because he lives to, 175? It's just different.
I don't think so.
It's gotta be. It has to be. It doesn't make sense otherwise. Like, it just does not make sense.
You can't imagine it?
Again? I can imagine it, but it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, it does.
I think they age just like we do now.
So you're thinking he has like back pain. He's got a little hunch. He's got a slower walk.
No, I think he was pretty in shape.
He got nimble hands. 99?
Like an old
99?
I picture Abraham like an old retired Marine who still like runs.
At 99.
Who still runs and
at
works
99.
out and has like
at 99.
Good arm definition.
At 99.
Little 6-pack with a little bit of softness, but like
at 99.
Still in really good shape. Big pecs.
Yeah, you're talking about like a 50 to 60-year-old.
No, I'm talking about
maybe 70.
I'm talking about
maybe
99-year-old.
99.
99.
There's no what you described. There's no 99-year-old like that.
That you know of.
Do you know of one?
I know of this one.
Because it's different.
It's not different.
It's 100% different.
He worked out.
Yeah, people work out nowadays. They hit 70 and then they're done.
No, they're not.
Basically.
You can still look really, really good at 65.
Okay, did you hear me? I said 70.
Okay, even 70.
There's no one over 70 doing what you described. Doesn't make sense.
You're going to have to figure out how to wrap your head around it, okay? Because that's a reality.
Dude, I've wrapped my head around it. They don't age the same.
Yes, they
That's
do.
That's just fact. 100%.
They do. It like they even
age
a little bit off.
It's like a decline. It's like a slow decline. Everyone's like not living as long. Now they're starting to age a little more, until they hit that 120 mark that God said.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's accurate.
How does that not make sense?
I didn't say it didn't make sense. I said it's not accurate.
So you're telling me people that lived 800 years old when they were 99, what do they look? They looked like they were already grayed?
Yeah.
There's no way.
And then once you hit like that old age where
you
your body can't
forever?
get older, yeah, you're just old forever.
That doesn't make sense. That would be so sad.
Okay. How old was Noah?
500, 600.
When he was on the ark?
500 to 600.
Okay.
500 when he had kids, 600 when he got off?
He was 600 when he was on the ark.
Yeah.
He got off on his 601st.
So he got off when he was probably like 60.
Okay. Gray beard, right? Everyone pictures Noah.
Possibly.
All bushy white beard, looks like...
Probably close to like a 60.
Looks like Gandalf.
Like 60 or 70.
Okay, well, he was 601.
Yeah.
He still lived another 300-something years.
Till about 90.
Looking like that.
Then he probably looked like 90 at 900.
No.
Yeah.
No, once you hit like 100, that's your look, and that's how you stay.
No.
That's it. Your cells can only degrade for so long. That's my theory. I'm going.
That's wrong.
It's not wrong. You think
It just is wrong. It just is.
You think a 65-year-old looks like she's 20? No.
Yeah, 25. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No possible way. No, she looked like a 65-year-old.
No. Back then, sure, but that looks like a 25 does.
No, she just had good features.
That stayed around for 65.
65 years. Then when she hit
100.
100,
65.
then when she hit 100, she just stayed that look for the rest of her life.
That doesn't make sense. You don't hit a certain mark, and then you're talking about decaying cells, then they just stop decaying?
I'm not talking about decaying cells. I'm talking about aging.
And they just stop aging?
They just, yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
They just stay in that state. There's only a certain state they can get to, and then they just then they stay there.
I think the state that they can get to and stay there is dead. So if you stretch it out and live longer, it takes a little bit longer to get there on a certain decline.
Agree to disagree.
There's no way you can change my mind on that.
There is.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Okay, numerically, who was older between you and I?
You.
Okay. Visually, who looks younger?
Me.
I thought you would say me.
No. I do have some grays though.
See?
Yeah. Maybe after I have a kid, I'll look.
But I don't look as old as I am. And I don't think. Wait, what?
No, you don't look as old as you are.
I don't think.
No, you're healthy.
I don't think Sarai looked as old as 65, even though she was. But it doesn't mean she was 20.
I think so.
No.
Like you're healthy, but once you hit 70,
I'm healthy. I'm eating a full pizza every week.
you're still healthy. But once you hit 70, like it's not gonna be the
70.
same. It's not gonna be the same.
You don't know. You would rather get circumcised at 99 than 13.
If it's 99 now, if it's 99 then, probably 13.
But you knowing that you're still going to live. Like, you're going to still live a while.
Yeah.
99.
No, back then, 13. If it's now, years are the same, 99. 100%.
Why? What
'Cause I'll
difference
just-
does it make?
Because I'm just going to die.
Well, you're not going to
Very
die.
shortly. Probably from the procedure.
But you're not going to die.
Because it's back then. So that's why I would choose 13.
No.
Today, at 99, if it was today.
It shouldn't make any difference whether it's today
The
or
year
back
the year
then.
2025, if I'm 99 and that happens, I'm gone.
What do you mean you're gone?
I'm dead.
No, you're not.
I will be. Did we talk about this? I feel like when people are older, there's at some point they can just choose to let go. Did we talk about that?
We did.
I actually really believe that.
But if God is still telling you you're still
If he was telling me
fulfilling
that,
your purpose, the
then sure.
situation doesn't change.
You're just asking me if I was 13 or 99, which one would I pick? I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, but your logic for picking it is
At 99,
beyond me.
because I'm just gonna die. What more is there for me after 99?
God tells you you're still going to do a ton of stuff.
Yeah, if you
But
told
you
me
have to
that,
do this. You have to do it now. Would you rather be 99 or 13?
13.
Okay.
Yeah.
That still suck really bad.
Well, yeah, but it's fine.
Can
I
you
was
imagine?
13 when this happened, so I'm over it for the most part.
Same difference.
Yeah, I can feel it sometimes if I think
For
about
the
it.
most part.
Yeah, if I really think about it, I can feel it again.
That's just it's crazy to think about. And it's also crazy to think about like just buying babies from foreigners.
Yeah,
But
and these guys are just loyal to him. They're like, yeah, man, I got you. Have at it.
well, he shamed them when he was like, "Quit being a bunch
That's
of
what you
sissies."
think he shamed him.
No,
I think they were probably loyal.
I think
They got up and fought for him, okay, oh, who is it? Your nephew? Yeah, I got you. Let's go.
they went out like gangsters.
Yeah.
And just took over everybody
So
and
then-
brought him back.
So then Abram says, "This is what God's telling me." They're like, "Yeah, man, I got you. Come on."
I don't think so. I don't think they were that willing to receive.
I think so.
No way.
If they did it all in a day, they had to be. If there's anyone not willing, do you think they held them down or they cast them out right then and there? Because I mentioned if they don't do it, they're like cut off, cast out. They're not cut off because they chose not to cut off, but they're cast out. You think there
That's
were
an
a lot of
interesting-
people cast out?
There had to be some. I mean, if you think about it, not everyone's going to line up for that. But I do like to picture
God didn't tell me
Abraham.
that.
Abraham, like, just stone cold, just throws it at him, tells him
I
to
got
stop.
a lot of work to do. How many hours in her day? 24? Oh my God. 300 plus of you.
All right, 4 at a time.
Oh, man. Yeah. And he has like his son sharpening more knives. So like after every
Maybe
couple.
that's where the pizza wheel got invented.
All right, you line up. And you got like some people have like stepping stools. Like
yeah, you have to be at the same height. Yeah. There's a lot of logistical planning that goes into that kind of project execution. But if you plan properly, it'll make it more efficient in the long run.
Yeah.
Do you think you ever like missed?
Gosh.
Or like sneezed? He's like, achoo!
Oh, didn't cut enough. Caught too much. Oops. Oh my gosh.
What a time.
Now I'm imagining the pizza wheel. That's something right there.
It would be way more efficient.
You think the person's helping him? Like they're getting it done and they're like helping him also? Like
I think the people that got it done are resting. I think they're laying down going, oh!
They don't but you don't think they helped him do themselves?
Oh,
they're just like go for it.
Like hold it while you cuts it or something?
Trying to be careful with words so it's not too bad, but they're like aiding him like, here you go, I got it.
Not to get too personal, but would you help the doctor cut you?
I think so. To make sure.
I don't, unless they asked me to, like, hey, hold this so I don't make any mistakes. I think I would just let them do their thing. But yeah, the people that didn't want to get it done, it doesn't mention that at all, but there had to be some. There's hundreds and hundreds of people. And
they probably went on their way to
they
Sodom or something, some city nearby.
Yeah.
Something like that. It says all the men of his house, those born in the house and those bought with money from a foreigner, were circumcised with him. So apparently no one declined this.
Dang. That's crazy. Do you think the people that wanted to decline were just forced? They're like, no, I'm not doing it, and then you hold them down.
Yeah. Brother, I'm sorry, but this is the way.
Abraham's
like, better for you.
Hold them down.
Yeah. Abraham's got to have some kind of stone coldness to him.
I'm telling you.
Got to.
He's John Wick.
And he's got like this peacefulness about him, it seems. Like with Lot deciding where to go. He's like, yeah, it's up to you, man. Like he had the right to decide and just like, yeah, I mean, what do you want? All right.
Yeah. You go east, I'll go west. You go west, I'll go east.
Yeah.
After this,
Lord appears to him.
God changes Sarai's name to Sarah.
That's right here. I think it was later.
It's in,
oh, no, it isn't.
It's like 3 verses later.
Oh, okay, you're right.
So he changes her name to Sarah.
Barely changes her name.
And then tells Abraham that he's going to give him a son through her.
More blessed than Ishmael. Yeah. Yeah.
Abraham asked God. It says Abraham laughed and then asked God, can this really be when I'm 100 years old?
Yeah.
And she's
90.
She's 90. She's 10 years younger than him.
Yeah.
My question there is, why would God bother giving Abraham a son or a child through Sarah when he already had Hagar and she was already fruitful?
And Ishmael. It's just part of his promise. They went and did it their own way, and he's like, that's not the way. This is the way.
So it's just to prove the power of his promise?
Or that, like, this is already, he's had this idea that he's promised this already, so he's sticking to it. He's like, you guys went and made Ishmael not a part of the promise. I'll bless him a little bit, but this is the real deal.
Intriguing.
So then in a year he
Sarah
has
was
Isaac.
90. Yeah, so he says by this time next year you'll have a son.
101 and 901 or 91.
So Abraham and Sarah have Isaac, which is where you have the whole Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then Jacob had Joseph, and that kind of goes.
Yeah.
And that'll bring us full circle back to where we began the podcast series, but.
Yeah, like Star Wars style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Tarantino.
Sure.
Oh gosh, please don't tell me you don't know who
He's
Quentin Tarantino
a
is.
director, filmmaker guy.
Can you name one movie?
Clint Eastwood.
What?
Clint Eastwood's in one of the movies, right?
In a Tarantino movie?
Right? Am I wrong?
Unless there's a movie out there I haven't seen.
Yeah, I don't remember them right now. I've seen a couple. If you name them, I'll be like, yeah, seen it.
Have you seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Nope. If you named another one, I'll be like, yeah, seen it.
Really?
What's another one?
Reservoir Dogs?
I didn't see that one. What's another one?
Oh my god.
What's another one?
Dude.
What's another one?
I can't.
I've seen some. What's another one? He's only got like 10 movies, right?
10 movies?
Am I thinking of the right guy or wrong guy? What's another movie?
I don't know.
What's another movie?
4 Rooms?
No, I've not even heard of that one or the other one. I've heard Reservoir Dogs. I don't know what it's about. What's another one? I'm going to know one of them.
I don't know all of them.
What's one that I would know?
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. I saw like 30 minutes of it. What's another one? I'm thinking of the wrong guy. I'm thinking of a wrong guy then.
Video series.
I don't know who I'm thinking of. There's some famous guys. He's only gotten like 10 movies, but he's super like.
Didn't Tarantino do the? It's not the Magnificent Seven, or was it?
Maybe.
It was the one where, like, in the winter, they're all on a trade post, and it's just chaos.
I think Magnificent Seven was like Western.
It's not. I thought it had 7 in the title. Anyway, whatever. Speaking of 7, nope, I got nothing. Dang it, I thought I could tie that in somewhere.
I was like, what are you talking about? So everyone's circumcised. Next thing we know.
Everyone's circumcised. So in Genesis 18,
the Lord appears to him.
Abraham gets 3 visitors.
It just starts out, the Lord appeared to him by the oaks of Mamre. Seems like that's a cool place. He likes to hang out a lot. That's his abode.
Yep.
So he looks up and he sees 3 men standing in front of him. So he goes and he's like, hey, let me get you some water, wash your feet.
He bowed down to him.
Yeah.
He didn't even know who they were. So you think he could just tell they were
I think he knew.
Angels?
I think he knew, I don't know if they're angels, his men. And angels is really just like messengers. So,
yeah, but...
So could one of these be...
I don't think
could
they
one of
were
these
men.
be a Jesus type? Where's Enoch?
I think they were angels.
But angels are just messengers.
Yeah, these guys were messengers.
Yeah. Could one of them been Enoch? No. Still walking? He's not walking anymore? He's walking with the Lord. Lord takes him. Comes back, hanging out, walking with him. What's up, Abram?
Abraham at this point.
Oh, yeah. Abraham.
So he goes and has Sarah prep food. They kill animals, give them meat, bread, whatever. Make them a nice hearty meal. Then in verse 10 to 15, I thought this was, well, not 10. Let's go, I'll just start at verse 8.
Okay, cool. Because I was about to say, I think it's cool that they ate. I'm like, God ate. I'm like, that's cool.
It says, Abraham hurried into, this is verse 6. Abraham hurried into the tent. all right, this is verse 1. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. Quick, he said, get 3 C's. What's your Bible say?
I would say Sayas.
Seahs. The subnote says probably about 20 quarts or 22 liters of fine flour, and knead it and bake some bread. Then he ran to the herd, selected a choice tender calf, gave it to a servant who hurried to prepare it. Then he brought some curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. So he made them all this food and then didn't even eat with them?
He was like their server. He's serving them.
Why wouldn't you just eat?
He's just serving them. That's he's focused on hospitality. Like, what can I do for you?
Then it says, where's your wife Sarah? They asked him. There in the tent, he said. Then the Lord said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son. So the Lord was there chilling. These 3 men showed up. They asked where Sarah was, and then the Lord...
Is this like the next day of the circumcision? Because during the circumcision promise, he says this time next year, she'll bear this kid. And so now here he's also saying...
Yeah.
It was like right after.
He's just reminding him.
Can you imagine one day after?
I can imagine anything.
Jumping up out of the tree, running down, running back in the house, serving all this stuff. One day after the procedure. It might be a couple of days.
Must have been good.
Yeah.
He was good at it. Maybe he saved himself for last. He practiced on everybody else and got perfect and then did himself last.
Like, show me your... I already did it. He's just practicing like, oh gosh, I gotta do better. Oh no.
Yeah, okay, not that. Oh. So it says, I will surely return to you about this time, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son. Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already old and well advanced in years, and Sarah was past age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, after I am worn out and my master is old, will I now have this pleasure? So she laughed to herself, which was kind of cool because then
God hears it.
God dimed her out.
Yeah. Like he knew the whole time
she
he knew
laughed to
she was
herself,
there.
which means on the inside, not even like vocally.
Possibly.
No, if you laugh to yourself...
I mean, if you talk to yourself, you can talk to yourself vocally.
Yeah, you could, but...
Because, this says, so Sarah laughed to herself, saying, after I am worn out. Well,
then the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, will I really have a child now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, I did not laugh. But he said, Yes, you did laugh.
Yeah, he did.
God told me.
So he's like, he's done. He's been coming down to these people, like asking, like, where are you at? What have you done? Knowing what's happening. And now he's like over it. He's like, where is she? Okay, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, she's there. Yeah, you said it. Like, this happens all the time.
So
then the men leave, but the Lord doesn't leave. Abram is with him.
He stays back.
Yeah. So then the Lord Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I'm about to do? He's basically saying he's going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah.
Well, that's the thing. Why would God ask the men if he should tell Abraham what he's about to do?
Well, he's
In verse
not
17.
asking the men.
Yes,
The men already left. Then the men set out from there, and they looked down towards Sodom. And Abraham went with them to set them on their way. Oh, so he's with the men.
Yeah, it says when the men got up to leave. This is verse 16. When the men got up to leave, they looked down towards Sodom, and Abraham walked along with them to see them on their way. Then the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Why would he ask
Casual
them?
conversation.
But if they were men, then why would God care? Like,
he's in a relationship with them. He's walking around. He cares what they think. This is Enoch, bro. Speculate.
God isn't going to ask us what we think about what he should tell other people.
If he's in a relationship with someone, yeah. You're interested in what they got to say.
I think they were angels.
Even
I
so,
think they
why would he
had to
ask an
be-
angel? Why would he care what an angel has to say? It's the same. What's the difference?
Fair.
What's the difference?
Well, because they're from like the same realm.
I don't think
And
they
they already knew what he was going to do.
I think angel is just...
Yeah, but these three men already knew what the Lord was planning to do.
Most of the time, it's just a messenger. It doesn't mean...
Angel
they're
means
from-
messenger, yeah.
Yeah.
But who else would they be? They knew what God's
Enoch and
plan
Jesus,
was.
bro.
What about the other two?
But that is the other two. It's the Father God and Enoch and Jesus.
But it says the Lord was with them too, so there's four. There's the Lord and then three men.
No, he's one of the three men.
No, he is not. Because the
That's
Lord
right.
was there first. The Lord was hanging out with Abraham, then the three men showed up.
That's interesting. I don't know. Because he bows to the three of them. I think he's one of the three.
He's not.
I think
The
he is.
Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day. Okay, so the Lord's already there.
Appeared to him.
Abraham
He could
looked
appear
up.
to him at a distance.
Abraham looked up and saw three men standing nearby. So the Lord had already appeared to him at the entrance of his tent.
Okay. So there's another one. Possible.
So there's the Lord and three men. That's why it's just strange.
It is strange.
Because then...
I pictured him as one of the men.
No.
I really did.
That's why I was
Because
like...
then I was like, oh, it could be like alluding to like Trinity type stuff.
That would be easy
Yeah.
to associate that, but
Yeah.
curveball.
I still think he's one of the three.
I don't know. But he asks the men if he should tell Abraham what he was about to do.
Yeah.
So they already knew, and he cared what they thought. Or like
If
he
Abraham
was-
should know. Yeah. Like,
so
should I tell
he
this
was
guy?
interested in taking their advice, which
Yeah.
I don't understand any person or angel that God would really go to for that kind of question. That's what's throwing me off.
Angels to know what they're what they're gonna say. Just interested. Like when you're in a relationship with someone, you're just interested in what they have to think and say. That's what I think.
Well, they never answered him, and he told Abraham anyway. So. And this is cool too. The Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sin so grievous, that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know." So two things come to my mind in this verse. The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah. Outcry from who?
Victims?
You think victims, or you think it's prayers?
Like
are
prayers
people-
from the victims?
No, I wasn't thinking from the victim. I was thinking just, when you see,
Oh, like someone, like a grandmother praying for their
like
drug
please
dealing.
help this town to
Yeah.
correct their ways, and
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. But what is?
It reminds me of the blood crying from the ground, though.
Yeah,
There's actually a couple things that remind me of.
But-
What was the other thing?
but why? If that was the case, then why would God say, "The outcry is so bad, I have to come down and see it for myself"? Wouldn't He know?
Actually, yeah, he would. Yeah, he would definitely know. But it's
So-
super similar now that I'm like thinking about it. Like the way I mentioned, he's like coming down, like, where's this person at? What are they doing? And he knows the answer, like he just did with Sarah. And then it's like, so Cain and Abel, he's asking Cain, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. And then right after that, he's like, no, I hear the outcry. And then after Sarah, he hears the outcry. So it's like similar things are happening. That's probably something there that's interesting.
But why would he say I have to go down and see it for myself? Like the outcry is so bad. The news of these places are so bad that I have to come down and see it for myself to believe it.
Yeah, I'm stumped on that one.
The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin so grievous that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know. So
if not, I will know. Like if the outcry isn't as bad, I'll still know that it was bad. What does that mean?
If the outcry wasn't as bad, like if somebody was like, they're murdering everybody, and then he comes down and there was like one murder, he'd be like, it's not that bad, okay? Let's not blow things out of proportion.
One wrong thing.
Do you have any idea what I was gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or not do? So that came to mind when I read that.
Yes.
The men turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then this tripped me up. Then Abraham approached him and said, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of 50 righteous people? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous. The Lord said, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I'll spare the whole place for their sake. Then Abraham...
Like, does he think, like, 50's a lot? I've actually heard about that place. What about 45? Sorry to ask you again. What about...
Yeah, then Abraham spoke up again. Now that I've been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes, what if the number of righteous is 5 less than 50? Would you destroy the whole city because of 5 people? If I find 45 there, he said, I will not destroy it. So God's just like, fine, whatever, 45.
Do you think he's like do you think God's kind of like, is he pleased with Abraham now? Like, sure. Like, that's so sweet. You think that? Yeah, of course. Like, that's...
I think God's just like...
I love your hope.
Cracking up on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever number you say. Go on, keep it low.
God already knew it wasn't going to happen.
Really? What happened?
Well, says, once again he spoke, what if 40? I found there. For the sake of 40, I will not do it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there? I will not do it if I find 30. Now I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord. This is like the 4th time he's done it.
Sorry.
What if only 20? He said, for the sake of 20, I will not destroy it. Like, why is he going down in like 5s and 10s? Why doesn't he just
skip a couple?
Yeah, why don't you just say, hey, look, what if like 1?
5,
Let's just start at 1.
Yeah.
What if you find 1 righteous person? Would you destroy it? And then you can kind of go up from there. But
yeah. 1,
like this
2,
whole like 50,
3.
45, 40, 30, 20. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there?
Yeah. So it's like a respect thing.
For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it.
Then he didn't let him question anymore.
When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home.
Yeah.
And that is where we are going to...
But what happens?
What happens?
We'll find out.
You're going to have to tune into part 2 to figure out what happens.
Because the men... I still think it's just three entities. It could be 4. But the other men, they're on their way to Sodom.
They went to Sodom.
God's hanging out. You think God is like going to go catch up? Like, is he just walking? Or is he like going to like...
God doesn't have to walk or catch up, dude.
He just vanishes right then? I was just wondering.
He just went up.
It says he went away.
I think the 3 men were probably either heavenly reporters, like scouts.
Reporters.
Because...
For the heavenly news.
Yeah. Because God came down to check and see if the outcries were as bad as they were. So he sent those 3 men into Sodom to come back and tell them, like...
Yeah.
They could have been scouts.
Right after that, it says the 2 angels came to Sodom. So I think that was the 2 that left. I think it was 3 total. I think God was one of...
It could have been.
I don't know. It makes no difference.
But we're going to find out what happens with Sodom and Gomorrah. And, oh my gosh.
What else happens?
The second part is nuts.
Does God spare Sodom and Gomorrah?
I'm not going to spoil things for you. But I will just say that...
Lot's there. He's got to save them, right? That's why Abraham's asking, like, hey...
Do you think Abraham's asking because he cares about Lot?
Yeah.
Then why wouldn't he just say 1? What if Lot...
Just spare Lot. I don't care if he's good or bad. I don't care about the other people. Can you get my, was he a nephew? Can you just get my nephew out?
But I will say this, part 2 is going to be way more intense.
More intense than 300 plus guys getting cut.
Yeah. In fact,
Wow.
part 2, we will have to say listener discretion is advised. Let's just put it that way. Because even outside of Sodom and Gomorrah, there's some pretty spicy stuff happening. And I don't
Sure, is Sodom and Gomorrah wicked? You're saying outside of Sodom and Gomorrah there's more wicked stuff?
There's stuff going on.
Dang.
You're gonna have to.
I need to read.
You're gonna have to read.
Yeah.
And tune in next week.
I have to tune in also?
And since Abram became Abraham, I'm gonna add ham to next week's pizza, and we're gonna do a ham and pineapple Hawaiian. I might even throw a little bacon on there just because bacon is awesome on Hawaiian pizza anyway.
Sure.
Abram added the ham. We're gonna add the ham.
There's
It's
never
gonna be a
enough
good
Red
time.
Bull.
I know. I kind of wanted 2 of these. I'm so thirsty. 50 sugars. 50 grams of sugar.
Is that a lot?
I don't know. To some.
Sounds like a number. Like,
I
what
wouldn't
is it,
give
a
it to my-
gram?
wouldn't
Is it
give it
like
to my
that big?
kid.
What's a gram anyways?
I know. 50 grams is probably like
Nothing.
that pickle.
It's probably smaller than the pickle, honestly.
Maybe.
What's a gram? Like
A gram is tiny.
a piece of sand?
It's like 2 BBs welded together.
Oh, that's pretty big. I was thinking it was like a piece of sand.
No. A gram is like
2 BBs?
2 BBs. Or a pellet. A single pellet would be like a gram.
That's
The
bigger
one
than I
with
thought.
a point on it.
That's definitely bigger than I thought. There's no way. 50 of those of sugar?
Yeah, dude, it's
There's
a Red
no
Bull. Why do you think they call it an energy drink?
There's no way. It's got to be smaller than a baby.
No, it's not.
That's good. I'll give it a... I think I'll give it a... We waited a little long, so it wasn't as hot.
Oh, I know.
So it is hard to say.
I had to compile my notes, my thoughts. But okay, imagine
say
it piping hot out of the oven. You have the hot
I can't imagine that.
meat, cheddar, mozz, bacon, onions, and then the
I think
cold,
I'd go 8.
and then the cold pickles and tomatoes to contrast it
I'm going to go
with
5.
ketchup, mustard, and mayo condiments on
There's
there.
mayo in there?
Oh yeah, mayo is the base sauce.
I'm gonna
Dukes.
go 8.5.
Duke's mayo too.
Oh, I'm a Hellman's boy. I'm just kidding. I'm definitely Dukes. Definitely Dukes.
Hellman's is number 2 to Duke's. If you would have said Miracle Whip, I probably would have.
It's not mayo.
I don't know what Miracle Whip is.
That's what I was literally about to
Yeah.
say. I don't know what that is.
We don't know. It's not biblical. I don't know why they call it Miracle Whip. Maybe it's a miracle they actually could make it. That stuff is gross. I don't know why we grew up on Miracle Whip. My dad always bought Miracle Whip. Like I didn't
What
even
if
know
that's a northern thing?
I didn't even know Hellman's existed until I was probably
Because I'm pretty sure
20
Dukes,
years old.
Dukes, I'm pretty sure, is southern.
Duke's. The headquarters factory is right down the street.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Right down the
southern.
street. Yeah, we live by Dukes.
I didn't know what Duke's was until I moved south.
Yeah. So
Like-
Miracle Whip might be a northern thing.
So we started with Miracle Whip, which when you don't know any better, it was like okay,
You gotta
good.
do what you gotta do.
But then I found Hellman's, and then I moved south and found
It's like
Duke's.
fried bologna. You don't know any better as a kid. You love it. And then you grow up. I've never had fried bologna since. What is that? That was like a delicacy.
Yeah.
That was weird. Maybe it's just a delicacy because I was a kid and loved it. But it seemed like it was something special.
Did you ever have Spam, like fried Spam and eggs?
No.
The first time I had Spam, I didn't know
What is it?
It's the ham in a can.
Oh, it is ham. Why is it called Spam?
I think it's called Spam.
What's the sp from?
I don't. Maybe it's not ham. I don't know, but
It's gotta be.
It's like a cat food.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I know it's in a
but
little
a meat.
can. Yeah.
But the first time I had it, I didn't know like what it was or how you were supposed to eat it. So I ate it out of the can, like
Yeah.
cold and gelatinous, and
Oh, it sounds gross.
it was.
but I'm sure
it was
fine.
terrible. It was salty and terrible. And then somebody was like, "No! You gotta like put it in a frying pan, like cook
Like
it
a
up,
burger?
fry it up, put a little crisp on each side,
Like a burger. Like a hamburger.
burger, like a
Like a
bur-
Spam burger.
a Spam burger, but cooked like you cook hot dogs."
Oh, I just burned the crap out of
Yeah,
hot dogs.
like put it in a frying pan till like the side is like blackish. Flip it over, do the same. Put some eggs, Spam and eggs. It's pretty good.
Doesn't sound good.
It's good. It makes a world of difference than eating it out of the can, cold and raw. It was not as fun.
I used to eat, we just talk about food forever, I guess. But what was it, little, what are they called? Vienna sausages?
Oh, the Vienna ones.
Yeah.
Those
I
are
used
good.
to love that crap.
Those are good.
Just straight out the
Yeah.
Those are good.
Those are really good.
Were good. I haven't had those since.
I have a whole plethora of pizza ideas.
Sweet.
That are not traditional.
Sweet.
If you don't actually listen to the podcast for the podcast, tune in for the pizza. Because the pizza for the next week is going to be Hawaiian, and then after that, it's going to get creative.
Tune in for the beginning when we describe it and we chew it, and then listen to us at the end talk about how good it was.
Exactly.
We definitely ate less than I thought we would, but I had steak right before I came here. So
well, it is really thick,
pretty
too.
heavy.
There's a lot of toppings on there. That works out.
But I loved it. It was good.
Yeah, very good.
Good pizza.
I think I'm probably like an 8.7 on that one.
Fair.
Still not as good as the fig.
Fig one was good. It was good. Bart. Good. Bart.
Clark.
Oh.
But I respect the attempt. All right.
Yeah, I don't even know what that. I don't know. I know you said what it was. National Lampoon?
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. I don't know what's good, but this is good.
Everything.
All right, cool.
Solid?
Solid.
All right.
Solid pizza.
Well,
Solid.
podcast over. My little study is a big study. That was out of context.